Welcome to Rogers Blue Jays baseball on Sportsnet. And Joe, spring has sprung. It is beautiful here today. Blue skies, it's warm. It finally feels like baseball weather. The Blue Jays and the Tigers wrapping up this three-game series here this afternoon. The Blue Jays trying to win a series on the road and feel pretty good about things before they head to Yankee Stadium for the beginning of a four-game series. Tomorrow night, a change in the lineup. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is hitting in the 2 spot. Part of it is that Springer and Okamoto aren't in there. Part of it is John Schneider went to Vladdy a couple of days ago and said, I just want to mix it up a little bit. I want to give you a different look. I just want to change things and see if that helps. Guerrero obviously was fine with that. So is it a one-day thing? Or is it longer than that? It probably depends on if he gets any hits today.
It probably depends on how the outcome works out. And if he bats in the 2-hole and gets 2 hits, he'll probably be in the 2-hole tomorrow.
I would think so. Let's take a look at the full lineup for the Blue Jays. And again, George Springer is getting a day. And I misspoke. This is actually Kaz Okamoto's 3rd day off this year. He has started now 43 of the first 46. So Dalton Varsho is in the 3 spot today. And Varsho has been swinging the bat pretty well. An unusual looking lineup because of who is not in there. Both Lenyn Sosa and Davis Schneider are in there against a righty, which you don't see very often, and that righty is a guy pretty well known to the Blue Jays. He's been around for a while. It's Jack Flaherty.
Flaherty now 30 years old in his 10th big league season. Spent his first 7 with the St. Louis Cardinals. He's been in Baltimore. It's his 2nd tour with the Tigers here. He slid over to the Dodgers and won a World Series after the trade deadline in 2024, but it's not gone good early on for Flaherty. See that ERA at 5.73 over his first 9 starts, and the walks have been a big-time problem. We heard the guys talking about that on Blue Jays Central. That'll be the challenge for these Blue Jays hitters, not to be expanding the zone. It took him 97 pitches to go 3 2/3 in his last start against the Mets. Defensively behind Flaherty this afternoon, Riley Green back out in left field, Matt Bierling in center, and Wenzel Perez in right. On the infield, Gage Workman makes his 9th career start. 8 of them have been at third base. McGonigal and McKinstry up the middle, Torkelson at first, and the Gold Glover, Dylan Dingler, behind the plate again after DHing yesterday.
And on the left, Yohendrick Pinango, who is in the leadoff spot, of course, hit his first big league home run yesterday. Joe and I had a chance to speak with him before the game. He's got that souvenir baseball. Somebody went out there and got it for him. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who, of course, has hit second before, has done it a fair bit for the Blue Jays here and there over the years, just has not done it this season. But again, Schneider saying that Guerrero was fine. Hit me wherever you want to hit me. And we have talked about this before. As a manager, there are only so many levers you can pull, and one of them is just change the order just for the sake of change to see if maybe it helps.
The lever John Schneider is looking for is getting Springer hot and getting Vladdy hot, getting your big boys hot, and then the complementary pieces should do their job as complementary pieces. You don't have to, you don't want to count on the young guys in the bottom half of the order to be carrying you.
You talked about Pinango, among others, in the open, and he, Valenzuela, Miles, the 3 guys you talked about, all of them have a couple of things in common. 1, they appear to have a lot of talent, and 2, they are all extremely confident young players. They are all rookies, but they are all doing a nice job, and they all exude a lot of confidence when you go talk to them.
You get up to the big league level, have a little success early. Confidence is oozing.
Pinango in the leadoff spot. Flaherty on the mound. The home plate umpire's the crew chief, Dan Bellino. And this one is underway with the ball 1. We asked Pinango about hitting leadoff, and he said, you never know, first pitch of the game, maybe I get a fastball. He did get a fastball, but he didn't get a strike. But he was ready to swing had he gotten one. And when he has swung, he has made a lot of contact. Not much swing and a miss. He has only struck out in 13% of his plate appearances. And the contact has been solid. Better than that, actually. A lot of line drives, and then elevated yesterday's enough to hit it out as he looks at a fastball for a strike. So Flaherty not overpowering. Fastball, slider, curve. Breaking balls have been hit, as you said. Control problems. He is not at his best right now. 3 balls and a strike.
Good discipline right there. You see a lot of young hitters. You talk about the confidence that's oozing from Pinango. A lot of young hitters will be taking a hack at that pitch because they're thinking fastball, didn't get it. He's very disciplined for a young hitter.
Fastball that he lifts way up in the air to shallow left. A very sunny afternoon here in Detroit as Riley Green, with the sunglasses on, comes in to make the catch for the first out of the afternoon. And now Vladdy. 0 for his last 10, 6 for his last 51, covering the month of May. Does not have an extra base hit in the month of May. You can hear a bit of a louder reaction. There are still a lot of Blue Jays fans here this afternoon. Maybe not quite as many as yesterday, but there are a lot of them. Swing and a miss at a slider, and it's 0-1. You have talked a little bit about maybe him pulling off, trying to hit some home runs instead of driving the ball up the middle to the opposite field on a pitch away from him. Got the slower breaking ball, the curve ball there. 2 good pitches from Flaherty, and he's out in front 0-2.
Kind of a good portrayal of it in those 2 swings right there. And he's not one that's going to shorten up with 2 strikes, but he can focus more right center the other way.
So now he's seen all 3 pitches: slider, curveball, fastball, and again he knows Flaherty well, has seen a fair bit. Guerrero has admitted that, he's trying to help his team, and other people have said there's a lot on him right now. He's feeling it. He knows they don't have a ton of power, and he is trying to hit for power. Has to reach for that one, pokes it down the right field line, foul. He gets a lot of 2-strike breaking balls out there, and there's not a lot you can do with those, but you got to protect.
You've seen Vladdy at his best. We've all seen Vladdy at his best, and we don't see that right there. No. He just sees the ball so well, and that's what makes me think he's still a little jumpy in that approach. And that's what happens when you're struggling. You're trying to find it. Sometimes you do more instead of less.
Here's a well hit ball, left field, and it is gone. There you go, Vladdy. Lined it on out of here. I think John Schneider might pencil him into the 2-hole again tomorrow. What do you think, Joe?
I think he can talk him into it. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has been adamant about wanting to hit third. Didn't want to hit second. Wants that little time before that first at bat. Well, maybe we're on to something.
And did you see that little double fist pump right there? There is a lot of emotion inside, and some of it showing for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He has been feeling the weight of it all in recent weeks for obvious reasons. He knows what he means to the team. He knows what his ceiling is, and he knows that everybody knows what his ceiling is. And he has often said, if I just hit 1 ball hard, I think I'll be okay. Well, he just hit 1 ball hard. Here's Dalton Varsho.
And it's exactly what I mean about sometimes doing less. You don't get to a fastball on the inside part of the plate like that by having a bigger long swing. Now, not immense velocity from Flaherty, but just a short, compact swing getting the bat head to the baseball.
Not many guys can hit a home run with a 16-degree launch angle. Not many guys can hit a ball hard enough that it's that low and still gets out of the ballpark. He is one of a handful who can. And that was a good sign. Now Varsho hits one high in the air, deep right center field, and it is in play. Varsho into second base, narrowly missed, going back to back with Guerrero.
Well, Dalton was all over this pitch. He hit it to a very deep part of the ballpark, and he may have thought he got it, but just where that wall goes out a bit, a couple feet to the right, and it gets over that wall where Perez was.
He continues to swing a hot bat. Went 2 for 3 with a double and the RBI single in the 10th inning of yesterday's game. Here's Jesus Sanchez up into the cleanup spot with this different looking lineup here today. Sanchez at 256, 5 homers.
Well, we've said Jack Flaherty, he throws the curveball and slider a lot, and his breaking pitches have been getting hit hard.
Yep.
Part of the reason, hanging in the middle of the plate.
Got a fastball in on the hands of Sanchez, and it's fouled back into the seats. So Springer getting a day in part due just to give him a day, which they're going to do every now and again. He is really struggling, and he does not have good numbers at all against Flaherty. Okamoto getting a day because they still are trying to help him This one to center field. It's dropping. It's down for a base hit. Varsho had to make sure, so he'll come to third. Okamoto getting a day. Remember, in Japan, you play 6 days a week. There's no such thing as 7 games in a week. And John Schneider felt this was a good time for Okamoto to get a day off. They want him in there for all 4 games against the Yankees. So again, without those 2 guys and without all the injured guys, it's a very different looking lineup. But sometimes on days like this, the guys who fill in wind up doing a great job.
We hear the term long game a lot, and that's what managers have to play in this marathon baseball season. And when you're playing the long game, you got to watch your guys in the first couple of months, because you really need them in the next 2 months, and then you really need them in the final 2 months.
So Lenin Sosa in the lineup today. He is at first base. Guerrero is the DH, by the way. Sosa sends one down the right side and just out of play. This is interesting because Flaherty not throwing a ton of strikes, and Sosa swings at everything. And he has not walked once this year, and not advocating that he should walk, but advocating he should get a good pitch to hit. If you're the Blue Jays, you got to at least get one more out of this situation here. You got to run over third, less than 2 outs.
Varsho and Sanchez both hit breaking balls in the middle of the plate. Sosa now has swung at 2 bad breaking balls, and you're playing right into Jack Flaherty's hand right here. The game plan going in, and it doesn't matter what your hitter profile is. It's hard to change who you are. But if you're Lenin Sosa today, you really got to change your game plan because of the pitcher on the mound. And instead, Flaherty's got him on 2.
Varsho at third, Sanchez at first. That one gets through the legs of Dingler, and in to score is Varsho. Sanchez up to second. It is 2-0. It is a wild pitch charged to Flaherty.
Don't see that too often from Dylan Dingler. That just got right under his catcher's mitt. He was there to block it, but did not get the glove down. Just an elementary mistake from a guy that took home a Gold Glove last year.
So the Blue Jays catch a break and lead 2-0. It's a ball and 2 strikes on Sosa. And strike 3 called. Sosa will challenge.
Previous pitch is called a strike. The batter has challenged.
This closer look is brought to you by Specsavers, and it is just off the corner.
Toronto retains their challenges.
So it works out well for Sosa. He's still up there. It's now 2-2. And this one sent foul down the left side, well back into the seats.
Now, once again, if you're Jack Flaherty, if you're Dylan Dingler behind the plate, there is no way you should leave a breaking pitch in the strike zone against Sosa at the plate right here.
We talk about this when the Blue Jays will face like a Javier Baez or a Nick Castellanos. Right. Fastball out of play. You'd like to see, if you're Dylan Dingler, if you're Jack Flaherty, you'd like to see slider off the outside corner, right?
Yeah, I'm going to keep throwing him and just try to get him to expand, because you know he will.
That one got a lot of the plate. It's in the air to right center field. Veerling over to make the catch. Sanchez is tagging and taking advantage of Veerling's momentum going to right center. He'll come to third with 2 outs. And that will finally give us a chance to catch our breath and show you the Guerrero home run.
Well, to get to a fastball inside, and that's in a little off, just 91, but you have to be quieter with your body to allow those hands to work. And he got them to that baseball very quickly on the inner part of the plate.
And it got out of here very quickly.
Looked like a line drive over the shortstop.
Again, a 16-degree launch angle. His third of the season. Runner at third, 2 down. Here's Ernie Clement. He is at third base today with Okamoto getting the day off. You know, only 91, as you said, from Flaherty, but we have seen pitchers 91, 92 tie up Flaherty with 2-seamers, and that was a 4-seamer, but tie him up with fastballs in there.
We've seen it consistently. That's what happens when your moves are big and you're late. Try to reduce those movements a little bit and be a little shorter to the baseball. Maybe he is on to something.
Clement did not start the game yesterday, came on late as a pinch hitter. Reaches for it, grounds it in the hole at short, backhanded by McGonigal, and the low throw dug out by Torkelson for the third out. The Blue Jays, though, get two, and by far the most notable of those two runs, this swing from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. It had been a while. Home run number 3 for Vladdy, and it's 2-0 Blue Jays.
Tomorrow on Sportsnet.
Bottom of the first, and a look at the lineup for the hometown Tigers, including the American League Rookie of the Month for March-April, Kevin McGonigal, off to a very nice start, hitting .291, had a couple of hits yesterday. Dylan Dingler, a very good player. Riley Green, a lot of power, although hasn't shown all that much of it so far this year. Some softer spots in the bottom of the lineup. The Tigers, like the Blue Jays, dealing with a lot of injuries, and today they will deal with Kevin Gausman as well.
10th start of the season for Gausman, 2-3 with a .386 ERA, but he gave up 6 earned runs in his last start against the Tampa Bay Rays. Did not get out of the 5th inning, threw 100 pitches for the first time. He is coming back today with an extra day of rest after the Blue Jays off day on Thursday. But we'll see what early on that splitter was getting away from him a little bit. He corrected a little bit throughout the start, but he was getting ahead of lots of hitters, but just did not have that put away stuff.
Has always done well as a Blue Jay against the Tigers, including a great start here last season. McGonigal goes after the first pitch and lifts a fly ball to right center. Dalton Varsho there. One down.
Well, Kevin Gausman will rely on the defense behind him this afternoon, and this is how they're laid out. Pinongo in left, Varsho in center, and Jesus Sanchez back out in right. Ernie Clement with the start at third base with Okamoto's day off. Jimenez and Davis Schneider up the middle. Lenny Sosa at first base with Vladdy DHing, and Brendan Valenzuela, who's been so impressive here in the big leagues, is back behind the plate for Gausman.
Continues to start roughly 2 out of every 3. Valenzuela does the last couple of weeks. Here's the Tigers catcher, Dylan Dingler. Takes a fastball over the outside edge, and it's 0-1. Dingler, a .243 hitter, has power. He's got 8 home runs. The Tigers have lost 9 of their last 11. They're a half game behind the Blue Jays. They're 20-26. The Blue Jays are 20-25. Two teams that came into the year off playoff runs last year, high expectations, expecting to contend, dealing with a ton of injuries, not playing to their potential, the injuries notwithstanding, but both managers know, yes, they have to play better, and yes, there's still a lot of baseball left to be played. 0-2 split taken low.
Came so close to seeing a Tigers Blue Jays ALCS.
That's right.
15th inning loss by the Tigers against the Mariners.
In the 5th and deciding game of their division series. The 1-2 just off the outside corner with the knees. 2-2.
We see if maybe Kevin doesn't really try to compensate for what we saw in that last start. You see against the righty, he'll really try to finish that splitter, almost keep it more middle away that time.
Fastball that's lined to right field, and this will get down over near the line. Dingler thought about it, but will be content with a 1-out single as Sanchez now gets it back into the infield.
Well, Dingler runs pretty well for a catcher. I was thinking this was going to be 2 off the bat. Sanchez gets over there quickly. Sometimes that's what you want to do as an outfielder. Get to that ball quickly, and that can shut down the runner itself. As a hitter, you have to be thinking double out of the box here, but Sanchez gets over there, has a little slip on the dirt down there, but is there quick enough to hold him to a single.
Number 3 hitter is the Tigers DH, Colt Keith, third-year player. Valenzuela asked for the appeal, but he didn't go, so it's ball 1 on Keith. A .302 hitter, has yet to homer this year, hit .256 with 13 home runs a season ago. Does not really get a chance to play against lefties, but is prominently featured in the lineup against righties for A.J. Hinch. Up and away with a fastball. It's 2-0. Gausman came in here last year and went 6 innings, gave up just 1 hit, did not allow a run, and struck out 10. A number of the hitters from that game are in the lineup today. Swung on and missed over the top of a split. and it's 2-1. And in fact, the hitters who are in the lineup for the Tigers today coming into the game, 10 for 61 with 22 strikeouts in their collective careers against Kevin Gausman.
Don't like the four-seam fastball splitter combination from the Blue Jays right-hander.
Another fly ball and right at Varsho. Out number 2. If you hit the ball to center field here,
you better hit it.
Yeah, I mean, it's even from our vantage point, just sitting here in the booth, looking out to Varsho in center field, it looks enormous compared to just about every other ballpark.
Looks like he's a kick returner, but a couple of football fields away.
Big gaps here. Great triples park if you can hit it, especially to right center. But boy, you got to hit it a lot to get it out of here in the big part of the ballpark. Here's Riley Green. And he'll lift a fly ball to left. Piñango over towards the line, makes the catch, and that is that. Through an inning, the Blue Jays up 2-0.
It's finance software.
Welcome back. Dalton Varsho with a double and a run scored already this afternoon. Yesterday, he recorded his 9th multi-hit game of the season. Now, if you ask Varsho, he'll admit he isn't quite feeling the same way he did during a tremendous spring. And when I caught up with hitting coach David Popkins, he told me he knows exactly why. Earlier in the season, pitchers were throwing the baseball to a specific location where Varsho historically wasn't making good contact consistently. So Hopkins and Varsho countered that by making an adjustment. That strategy worked for a while, leading Varsho to hitting those 3 homers in 4 games last month. However, long-term consistency was lost, prompting a return to the original spring training approach, which is what he's using right now. Popkins said the key is to counter opponents' tactics with subtlety, thinking twice about solely targeting adjustments to one specific area of the zone. So, Dan, the cat and mouse game continues. Varsho, though, striking first this afternoon, guys.
Hazel, thank you. A double to deep right center, a ball that would have been a home run in a lot of ballparks for Varsho. 2-0 Blue Jays top 2. Here's Andres Jimenez. You and I spoke with Varsho a little bit in the clubhouse as well, and to Hazel's point, cat and mouse, like, it's endless. And without giving away, specifics, because we shouldn't do that to Dalton Varsho, but I was thinking this, and then they were doing that. So then I started to do that, but then they started to do this, and every hitter will give you the exact same story, right? It's a never-ending back and forth.
Hitting sounds easy, right? It is a back and forth because as pitchers adjust to you, you can adjust to them. But when you do, they take note. They're not going to just keep feeding into where you adjusted. So then they go to plan B and plan C, so you have to adjust again. It's a 6-month season, and it's not just about facing particular pitchers. So it's not just about Jack Flaherty today, and you might see him one more time this year. It's the league. Everybody's got all the data. They know how you handle the ball in, away, the breaking pitches, off-speed pitches. And I think for Dalton, we know spring training, the story was a lot of that working down to the ball, trying to keep his swing flat because he's got that natural loft to his swing. So he made that adjustment. And then he got to some baseballs. Well, now the league's going to continue to adjust back. He's going to have to do the same.
Good curveball from Flaherty to get Jimenez for the first out.
I like where Dalton is at, though, the way he hit that pitch. What hitters have to do is hit pitchers' mistakes. You're not going to hit the nasty sliders down and away or the 96 fastball up and away in a 1-2 count. Those are tough ones. But when you can do damage to a pitcher when he leaves on the plate, you'll do just fine.
One down, top 2. Here's the catcher, Brandon Valenzuela, hitting .231, 4 home runs. What we had heard about Valenzuela before we saw Valenzuela was there's a lot of power, but there's a fair bit of swing and a miss. The power tool is ahead of the hit tool. They're trying to up the contact without diminishing the power. Swing and a miss at another fastball in the zone, 0-2. And he has shown the power, but he's also shown the swing and a miss. He's kind of been as advertised.
Yeah, you watch his front leg, his stride foot. That's where the adjustment that we're seeing, where he's just trying to quiet things down and quiet his head down. The bigger leg kick and the bigger move you have to the ball, your head moves a little bit more, and it's tough to stay close to the baseball.
Flaherty staying with the fastball. This one fouled back. but certainly not intimidated by being in the big leagues or being up in a big spot. We talked about Pinango and Miles, all three of them extremely confident rookies. Takes the curveball, one. And if you like tools between the power, the throwing arm, he gets excellent marks for receiving or framing, stealing strikes, however you want to say it. Pulls it down to first. They still might have a play, and they do. It bounces off Torkelson to McKinstry, and Flaherty doing what he's supposed to do. Get over there on any ball to that side of the field, and that's a 3-4-1 put out.
That's a pretty good piece of hitting with 2 strikes. Hit this ball very hard to the right side. Torkelson certainly has his struggles around the first base bag, but a nice backup by his second baseman, McKinstry, there to pick him up.
So 2 down, and batting in the 9 spot and getting a start at second base today is Davis Schneider. Swing and a miss at a well-located slider. It's 0-1. It has been a tough go for Schneider offensively this year, especially in recent weeks. The at-bats have been hard to come by. And he's challenging.
He knew right away.
Previous pitch is a strike. The batter has challenged.
And he is correct.
Pitch is a ball.
This is something that a lot of people thought he would be very good at this season, and he has been very good at it. He has been the best challenger, if you will, as a hitter for the Blue Jays. Pulls it foul, 1-2.
You can tell a lot of times where the catcher is set up and where he has to move his glove to catch the baseball, and that's why he immediately went to his helmet on that challenge. I felt the same way just from watching it here.
And Flaherty gets him with a curveball as he sets down the Blue Jays in order in the top of the second.
Wherever you get your podcasts.
Fans, head to Rogers Center on June 5th as the Blue Jays kick off Pride Month in Toronto. The first 15,000 fans will receive a City Connect Pride hat presented by TD. Pride Night will also include pre- and post-game activities, photo opportunities, and live performances. Get your tickets at bluejays.com/promotions. Here on a sunny Sunday in Detroit with a lot of Blue Jay fans in attendance. The Blue Jays trying to win a series here on the road. They're up 2-0. Bottom of the second. If you weren't with us earlier, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. homered in his at-bat to stake Kevin Gausman to an early lead. Gausman facing Matt Vierling to lead off the bottom of the second. And this shows you kind of the state of the Tigers lineup with their injuries. Vierling is a right-handed batter hitting .213 on the year, who hit cleanup yesterday and is hitting 5th today. They don't have Kerry Carpenter, Gleyber Torres, Parker Meadows. These two managers could play a good game of cards. Oh yeah, look who I've got out. And well, I'll see your Kerry Carpenter and I'll raise you an Addison Barger. I mean, both of them are banged up, but to their credit, neither one of them is feeling sorry for himself, really. They've both been in baseball forever. It is what it is. You got 26 guys. Try to figure out a way to win a ball game.
It's almost that case where these guys both know life's easy when things are going well, right? When you have all of your horses in the lineup, but now you have to try to navigate some muddy waters. The big thing is just surviving and getting through it until you get your big guys back.
This is popped up by Vierling in foul territory. And Sosa made the catch. Boy, he was running out of real estate in a hurry, and it looked like the wind may be pushing it a little bit that way. He kept looking up, looking down, looking up, looking down, but he made the catch.
He came a long way, too, with a right-handed batter. He's way over towards second base, and I thought he was giving up on it at the very last second. He sticks his glove out. He makes the catch just in front of the rail.
Vierling retired for the first out, and here's the third baseman for the Tigers, Gage Workman, as you mentioned, in just his 9th major league game. He is 4 for 18 and all 4 hits, extra base hits, 2 doubles, 2 homers. Clement at third, way off the line and in even with the bag. Well, we mentioned injuries, and the Blue Jays had another roster move today. Tommy Nance has been placed on the IL with a forearm issue, forearm discomfort. So Canadian Adam Macko, you probably heard about him a lot over the years, is on the active roster for the first time in his career. Yes, you saw that right. He was born in Slovakia. We had a chance, along with Hazel and BNS and other members of the media, to speak at length with Macko before the game. Played a little bit of baseball in Slovakia. The family moved to Ireland when he was 11. That's when he really got into baseball, he told us. And then moved to Alberta when he was 12. And by the time he was 15, he was going to Vauxhall Academy in Alberta, where he really got into baseball. 7th round pick of the Mariners. Came over with Eric Swanson in the Teoscar Hernandez deal a few years ago and represented Canada at the WBC this year, including striking out Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper in a game against the United States, the game ultimately where Canada lost and was eliminated. Knee surgery set him back last year. He used to be a starter. He's now a reliever, and he is very, very excited to be in the major leagues, and we might see him here this afternoon.
He talked about those emotions today. It's his dream since he was about 7 years old, as it is a lot of young baseball players. But mentioned the word gratitude today. Grateful to a lot of the people that have been there every step of the way with him.
Another foul back by Workman, who gets some good swings in here. It remains 2-2. Macko is left-handed. He could be anything from like go in and get Riley Green to up to 2 innings. They have used him in a variety of roles, but again, no longer a starting pitcher. Became a reliever late last season. High fastball foul back. And I would imagine pitching in the WBC, he also got Aaron Judge on a fly ball to center. You know, having faced Schwarber and Harper and Judge in the WBC, I'm sure that heart's going to be beaten pretty good when he gets out there. But that's some pretty big time stuff. That's
some great experience. Yeah. Pretty good training ground.
Yeah. Boy, this is a tough at bat being put up here by Workman. That's 8 pitches and counting, and he has fouled off 6 of them.
Getting to a lot of these fastballs. You can't get him to chase a splitter.
Fouled that one back. He has seen 5 fastballs and 4 splitters in this at bat. And against lefties, Kevin Gausman is basically a 2-pitch pitcher. He'll mix in a slider every now and again to a righty, but hardly ever against a lefty. Pitch number 10.
See Valenzuela. Yeah. Hang with me, Kevin. Hang with me. We can get this guy.
Pretty good stuff for a guy with about 10 days in the big leagues.
Well, Kevin's all around the zone with these pitches. Workman's just getting to every one of them.
Yet again, another 2-2. Another fastball fouled off. And he is about to see the 12th pitch in this at bat.
You don't see him come inside on lefties a lot. It looked like that's what Valenzuela was doing, but he didn't quite get the pitch in there enough.
Down and in, and it's full.
Tried the slider. Why not try something different?
Full count, pitch number 13 in this at bat upcoming. Got him with a splitter. Took some doing, but Gausman wins.
Well, not a lot of fun using up all those pitches on one batter, but you might as well save your best splitter for the last one.
Strikeouts are brought to you by Subway. Get 25% off any footlong on game days. Order in the Subway app using code STRIKEOUT. So 2 down and the base is empty for Zach McKinstry. And this is where even this early in the game you kind of look back at the first inning and say Gausman got some quick outs in the first. Otherwise this pitch count could really be up there, but it's still very manageable for this stage of the game, even with what Workman just did.
And this is the part of the lineup where you can play a little catch up here.
Popped up foul, third base side. Clement over, but it's well out of play.
When you're trying to navigate your pitch count, you're thinking get this guy here, and then you've got the bottom of the order next inning, and hopefully get back to where you want to be pitch count wise when that top of the order McGonigal comes back around.
McKinstry, an all-star last year, having a tough go this year, hitting just 178 so far. Another foul off, 1-2.
Well, you can see Kevin's got his decent fastball today, but it's not that overpowering stuff that he can blow something by guys. They're all getting a piece of them.
2-2. Off the glove of Schneider, and it ricochets into right center. That'll be a base hit for McKinstry.
Hard hit ball. Any second baseman, especially David Schneider, the way things have gone for him, he'd love to come up with this baseball and get Kevin back in the dugout after this long inning with a lot of pitches. But sharply hit, a little short hop. Tough play for Schneider as it goes into right field.
So that's a 2-out single for a guy who can run a little bit into McKinstry. Although both Blue Jay catchers have shown off their arms so far in this series, and no doubt A.J. Hinch and company have taken note of that. Valenzuela threw out one a couple of nights ago. Tyler Heineman threw out 2 in yesterday's game. Here's Spencer Torkelson, who had the game-winning hit Friday night. A single to right center in the 10th. Throw down to first, but back in ahead of it is McKinstry. Valenzuela not shy at all at trying to throw behind a runner.
Heineman and Valenzuela, they both do it different ways. Tyler Heineman's got a very quick exchange. He gets rid of the baseball very quickly. Brandon Valenzuela's got the stronger arm. But if they both do their thing and make an accurate throw to second base, if their pitcher gives them a chance time-wise, they'll get a lot of base runners.
The Blue Jays as a team have thrown out 31% of opposing base stealers. The major league average is 23%. McKinstry the lead, not going, and it's fouled off by Torkelson. Now 2-2.
Kind of a funky pitch. It looked like a slider backed up, and Torkelson just barely got to it way inside. A little self-defense.
Torkelson just 1 for 12 in his career against Gausman. Did he go? Yes, he did. Dan Bellino will make the call right at the plate. Second strikeout of the ball game for Gausman. And a man left on for the Tigers. At the end of 2, it is still 2-0 Blue Jays.
Start your free trial today.
Are you a Rogers customer? Watch for Canada's winning inning during the game. When the Blue Jays get a hit, you could win amazing prizes courtesy of Rogers Beyond the Sea. Well, I'm sure Vladimir Guerrero Jr. feels a whole lot different in the on-deck circle right now than he did at the beginning of the ball game, and that's because he homered in the first. The other run came in after Varsho doubled. Sanchez singled him to third, and then a wild pitch brought the run in. Here's Yohendrick Pinango, who takes a very close pitch, a curveball just low for ball 1. Pinango retired by Jack Flaherty on a fly ball to left. This had some good sound to it. It's hit a long way to the deepest part of the park. But as we told you, it is huge out here in Detroit. What would have been a home run in a bunch of other parks is a long out here at Comerica.
Over 400 feet straight to center field, and it looks like those flags have the wind blowing in, so he had to really get a hold of that one.
One down, and here's Guerrero. Takes it high for ball one. Guerrero, if you weren't with us, got a fastball a little bit in off the plate and hit a low laser just over the wall into the Tigers bullpen and left. Reaches for this one, and he's going to get himself a base hit. A pitcher's pitch on a slider down and away. Couldn't have done much more with that, but he is 2 for 2.
Well, this is exactly what John Schneider is talking about. Change for the sake of change. Why not change it up? Maybe our luck changes. Maybe balls drop in while one's gone over the fence and one's dropped into shallow center field.
A 1-out single for Guerrero, and here's Varsho, who narrowly missed a home run in the first, hit a double to deep right center. Going back to the grand slam a few days ago back in Toronto against the Rays, Varsho is now 4 for his last 8 with 2 doubles and a homer. So we're just talking about a very small sample size, but he has been very hot the last few days. And as we all know, Dalton Varsho has shown himself to be a streaky hitter over the years. But boy, when he gets hot, and who knows if it's going to happen right now, but when he gets hot, he's about as hot as anybody. And there's a ton of power in that bat. This one popped up third base side. Workman coming over and running out of room.
Hitters have a sense too how certain teams pitch to them. You see that what he did with his left hand right there. He's reminding himself, stay on top. Don't let that barrel drop. Talks so much about naturally working underneath the ball, so he has to overcompensate by thinking stay on top of the ball. But the Tigers pitching staff as a group might pitch him a little differently than the Rays pitched him, than the Angels may have pitched him. And you have to make that adjustment or identify that in a series.
Line drive left center field, base hit and more. It's going all the way to the wall. Guerrero is around third and on his way to the plate, and Varsho is into third with an RBI triple. And a little smile as he pops back to his feet. He is officially hot, and it's 3-0 Blue Jays.
Well, this is Comerica Park. You hit one in the gap, more so right center, but even left center, a long way out toward that flagpole. You're not thinking 2 out of the box. You're thinking 3 out of the batter's box. And right about here, Dalton is thinking triple. Coming around first, this is where you size it up. As a base runner, this is your decision. No looking at a third base coach. The ball's in front of him, and he made a good decision.
For Varsho, that is his first triple of the season, the 20th of his career. And the infield is in for the Tigers with a runner at third, 1 out, and now Jesus Sanchez trying to get something in the air to the outfield. And he will. He hits it to center. It is backing up Veerling, and this will be an easy tag and score for Varsho. A sac fly for Sanchez to make it 4-0.
If you're a hitter like Sanchez, you say thank you very much. Gave him something out over the plate that he could get the barrel to and get it in the air to cash in Dalton Varsho from third base. Good situational hitting.
Varsho right in the middle of both rallies here today. So 2 down and the base is empty now for Lenin Sosa, who hit a fly ball to center in his first at bat. Ground ball to short. McGonigal up with it, throws him out to retire the side. But the Blue Jays add 2 more. Dalton Varsho drove one of them in and scored the other one. Racing around second for his first triple of the regular season. And it's 4-0 Blue Jays.
Brandon Valenzuela behind the plate for Kevin Gausman this afternoon. He calls throwing out base runners one of his primary weapons and a part of his game he's really proud of. Around 2019, when he recalled this new philosophy of receiving began, It took him roughly a season to learn how to move properly and efficiently with a knee down. When you try and rush things, he explained, at times you're out of control, you don't get a good grip on the ball, so he tries to pop up as efficiently as he can. He explained that he lives by this saying, slow makes it smooth, smooth makes it fast. It seems to be working, Dan. He's thrown 8 runners out already this season, 3 this week. Guys?
Hazel, thank you. All right, Mr. Siddle, former big league catcher. Slow makes it smooth, and smooth makes it fast. You like that?
It's almost like hitting, though, right? We talked that about with Vladdy at the plate early in the first inning. It's when you slow things down that you allow your body to work more efficiently. I think that's what he's getting at. And in talking to Drew Buterre a little bit, too, about his setups and feeling more comfortable behind the plate, he's a big dude back there. This is a big guy behind the plate. So to be able to get into a comfortable stance, and remember, Kevin Gausman wants you sit up in a different manner perhaps than Dylan Cease for different pitches. So what knee goes down, what knee stays up. The one knee stance is newer, obviously he's adjusted to it, but you have to give yourself room that glove side. Oftentimes if that knee is down on your glove side, it gives you a little bit more range of motion to receive the pitch. So it depends what pitch is called, but you also don't want to tip off hitters or coaches into what pitch is coming based on your setup. So much going on back there, but he is learning on the fly and he's learning fast.
There are so many defensive aspects to the catching position. Throwing tends to get a lot of the attention, a lot of the headlines, and it should get a fair bit of the headlines, obviously. But there's also receiving or framing, making pitches look like strikes. There's blocking pitches. There is, as you just said, the way you set up. Kevin Gausman might want things done differently than Patrick Corbin or than Dylan Cease on the same pitch in the same location. And his job is to remember exactly how every pitcher wants him to set up for each pitch in his spot. You don't want to annoy the pitcher when he's expecting a certain target and gets a different look back there. The point being, it's a steep learning curve. There is a lot that he is trying to learn and has learned over the last several weeks.
I can't imagine when I caught having to learn this new style on one knee because of all that goes into it. And in talking to Buterre, one thing I really caught me was he said he's got a good strong core, but it allows him to reach for pitches without turning his knee in. So that's another factor of making the pitch look good.
And then whenever you catch, you hit 4 times as well, and you're trying to hit big league pitching for the first time. And then you're a switch hitter, so you've got 2 different swings that you're trying to get to the best place possible as a big leaguer. Like for Brandon Valenzuela, I mean, he's back in school.
And he's not like playing on a team with no expectations. This is a team that was in the World Series last year.
Bounced back to the mound, and Gausman will put the tag on Wencel Perez for the first out here in the bottom of the 3rd.
Boy, if I'm a catcher right there, I'm always yelling 1-1-1. I don't want my pitcher to go over there and tag the runner. Catch it and flip it, because it might not happen very often, but if this ball pops out of the glove right there, that would have driven his manager up a wall. Catch the ball, flip it to first, but you know, Kevin's had some plays there in the field. Remember that last start? So memories of that. He said, I'm taking this myself.
Top of the order, here's Kevin McGonigal, who flied out on the only pitch he saw from Gausman in the first. He'll swing at the first pitch again here and hits a routine ground ball to Davis Schneider, and that is out number 2. .47 pitches now through 2 2/3, 13 of them in the Gage Workman at bat alone. A strikeout back in the 2nd. Here's Dylan Dingler, who had a base hit down the right field line in his first at bat. Just inside for ball 1. Missed up and in with a slider, and it's 2-0. Back in the zone, 2-1. Gosman sitting at about 94 with his fastball so far today. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Here's that splitter glove side. He's really pulling that over there. Sometimes maybe by design, sometimes yanking it a little bit.
As a hitter, it's not the direction you're expecting the splitter to go in.
Yeah, you're thinking more middle down and in if you're a right-handed hitter.
More like that closer to straight down, but some of them will also move, as you say, down and in on a right-handed batter. Now 3-2.
He's limiting hard contact, and that's what he does very well. A lot of soft contact, but when he doesn't have that electric fastball that he can blow by people, this is where the pitches can really spike up.
And another play for him. This one he'll toss to first for the third out, and he gets the Tigers in order here in the bottom of the third.
Bobblehead.
Well, they say it's the two best words in sports, Game 7, and that's what is coming your way tomorrow night. The Canadians and the Sabres. The Sabres came back from down 3-1 to run away with it last night, winning 8-3 to win Game 6 and force a 7th and deciding game in Buffalo. And there's the biggest Sabres fan on the Blue Jays traveling party. Ernie Clement from Rochester, New York, was all fired up about the Sabres. He, whatever they do, rang the bell, I think, at a Sabres game earlier this year. He was watching the game last night, and he is very excited. Obviously, it's been a long time for the Sabres. Won the first round, and then to go and to win Game 6 in Montreal and force Game 7 back to Buffalo. Ernie is excited. But he'll be focused on playing the Yankees tomorrow night. He'll have to find out what happened in the hockey game after the baseball game is done. 0 for 1 on a ground out here today. And another ground ball to short. Same place he hit it in the first inning. McGonigal again, 1 down.
Ernie's a tough one to say, Ernie, get a good pitch to hit, because that's just not who he is. It's not what he does. But anytime a hitter is struggling, the first thing you think of, where is the pitch that you're hitting? It's the first pitch fastball up and in. Not ideal for most hitters. Could Ernie hit a double with that pitch? Sure, but again, not ideal.
1 down. Here's Andres Jimenez, who struck out in the second. The Blue Jays with 2 in the first and 2 in the third today. And it's been the same 3 hitters who were involved in both rallies, and only those 3 guys: Guerrero, Varsho, and Sanchez. Thought about bunting for a base hit, takes ball 2. We don't see a ton of that in Jimenez's game, but I find it interesting that maybe, and the third baseman, listen, Workman's already playing in right now, but it feels like something that Jimenez should be able to do fairly effectively every now and again.
But even to first, because when a left-handed hitter pulls it to first base, that first baseman has to make a decision. If it gets past the pitcher and the first baseman goes for the baseball, all you're doing is beating the pitcher to the bag.
Fouled off, 2-2. And looks like he is adjusting, adjusting that guard, but that didn't cause him any discomfort or anything. Jack Flaherty entered the game with a 5.73 ERA, and that has gone up with what has transpired so far here today. Jimenez tried to check it, and he succeeded, so it's a full count.
Jack Flaherty will wiggle his glove a lot as he's getting the sign from the catcher, and that's just to make sure that the hitter doesn't, he's not tipping anything. He does it on every pitch just to make sure that's consistent.
Swing and a miss. 2 down. Didn't Ryan Dempster do that? I think Ryan Dempster did that towards the end of his career.
See that wiggle right there? Doesn't matter whether it's a fastball, it's curveball, slider. Because if you're still with your glove and then maybe with the curveball, it just moves slightly, or your hand moves slightly, that will tip things off to hitters. So that way you're wiggling it a lot on every pitch.
Brandon Valenzuela 0 for 1. And hitters can even look for, if you have a different grip for a different pitch, maybe your forearm muscle flexes differently. It can be something that subtle, something involuntary that maybe you can't control it, so you'd better hide it.
There are pitchers that will wear sleeves on their arms even if it's a hot summer day so that that's not identified.
Second year of a 2-year deal for Flaherty. As Joe mentioned, his second time around with the Tigers. Signed with them in 24, got traded to the Dodgers, went over there, won a World Series with the Dodgers, but always seemed to want to come back to Detroit, and immediately in that offseason signed a 2-year deal that is up at the end of this year. Outside, 3-1. And goes to a breaking ball to get in there. A backdoor slider makes it 3-2. Davis Schneider on deck if Valenzuela can get on.
Don't get too many 3-1 breaking. So you take that pitch, it's a good take, and then he's just barely missing that fastball. 3-2.
Pulls one down to first. Torkelson up with it. And Flaherty has a 3-up, 3-down, top of the 4th.
That.
Beyond the Baseline's meeting rooms at Rogers Center offer a bold new way to take your next meeting beyond the office. With a variety of room styles designed for everything from executive board meetings to client presentations and strategy sessions, there's a space suited for every type of meeting. For more information, visit bluejays/meetingrooms.com. Blue Jays will be back home in a few days. From here, they're going to New York. A 4-game series, all-night games against the New York Yankees. First time that the Blue Jays and Yankees will face one another since the division series a year ago. The Yankees are currently playing the Mets this weekend. They won the first, lost the second. They're tied in the 4th inning at 1 today. The Yankees have announced their pitching plans. The Blue Jays have for the most part. As we're underway here in the bottom of the 4th, and this hard hit ball down the line but foul off the bat of Colt Keith. The Yankees will send Ryan Weathers, Will Warren, Cam Schlittler, who's got a 1.35 ERA this year, and Carlos Rodon in his 3rd start off the IL. That'll be their foursome. Max Fried went on the IL a few days ago with an elbow injury, and Garrett Cole is 1 start away from coming off. He is, the long journey back from Tommy John, but he's got 1 more rehab start before he gets active, so the Blue Jays won't see him. The Blue Jays will send Patrick Corbin, Dylan Cease, Trey Savage, and then Thursday is a TBA. Obviously, if possible, Spencer Miles will be a big part of it, whether it's as a starter, bulk guy, who knows. But it's never dull when the Blue Jays and Yankees get together.
Might be a TBM. To be Miles
to
at
be
some
Miles,
point.
Yeah. They keep pushing him a little further, and he keeps responding. And again, we'll see how much they are willing to stretch him out. You've got to consider his health and the lack of innings he has pitched in recent years and his injury history. But boy, has he been good.
I think coming on to this road trip too, you got to believe the Blue Jays' goal is to come to Detroit and try to win a series. Take 2 out of 3 here in Detroit before thinking about the Bronx and the Yankees, because the last thing you want to do is look too far ahead. And Kevin Gausman's in position here to steer his team to a victory with an early lead and lots of baseball left.
Fastball, and he got him. Taken by Keith. 3rd strikeout of the ball game for Gausman. Well, speaking of the schedule ahead, after 4 in the Bronx, back home, 3 with the Pirates, 3 with the Marlins. 2 pretty good teams, 2 pretty tough teams. And then their first meeting with the Baltimore Orioles this year, a 4-game series at Camden Yards. Here's Riley Green. you know, you look at the standings, especially in the American League, and so many teams are clustered together, and you can make a case in virtually any series. Well, this team could win that series, or that team could win that series. The margins are so small right now. And the Blue Jays very fortunate to be in the American League right now. The National League has been way stronger than the American League. There are a lot of interleague series going on this weekend. And believe it or not, the National League is 16-6 against the American League so far this weekend. And way out in front in the overall season series. The Blue Jays, and we understand it's way too early to talk about, you know, playoffs and anything like that, but they are a game out of the final wild card spot right now. They're 5 games under 500, and they are 1 game out of the last playoff position. If they were in the National League, they'd be 7 games out of the last playoff position.
That has been a topic of conversation here this weekend, because in speaking with the Tigers people and even AJ Hinch, being in the Central is a little bit of help for them, because their goal is to win the division. When you look what the Rays and Yankees are doing, yes, it's early. If it is tough to catch, you got to go for that wild card. But in the Central, it can be wide open.
Big swing and a miss by Green. Back-to-back strikeouts for Gausman.
Lots of fastballs to Riley Green. It looked like Kevin just tried to rear back right there. Blew it right by him.
Four strikeouts now for Gausman through 3 2/3 scoreless. And here's the center fielder, Matt Vierling, 0 for 1.
Remember last inning, Dan, we were talking about Jack Flaherty and his delivery. You mentioned pitchers and maybe their arms, and I mentioned some pitchers wear sleeves on hot days. Kevin Gausman wears sleeves. He knew what the forecast was today. And, you know, we talked about that in the past. Pitchers will do that just to be as discreet as possible with any movements. We know that Kevin, over the years, even here in a Blue Jays uniform, we've talked about the potential for chipping pitches, and it's rampant around the league.
He's probably had maybe more concerns about that than your typical starting pitcher. And even in the Tampa Bay game last week, he changed his setup in the 3rd inning from the first 2 innings, always trying to conceal it as best he can. Some pitchers, it just seems like the way they hold the ball, the way they set up, there's no issue at all. And some pitchers are a little more vulnerable to it. And when you're only basically a 2-pitch guy, it can be really problematic. Now to play.
And remember, Major League Baseball changed that rule this year that the first and third base coaches have to stay in their coach's box, because what would happen is both the coaches would slide down the line further toward the umpire, and you get a little bit of an angle and be able to see the grip of a pitcher grabbing the baseball. So that sign can be relayed to a hitter, to an on-deck hitter. So there are a lot of shenanigans going on. It's not new in the game by any means.
Pop up for Sosa right near the bag, and he'll make the catch for the out. And that is 7 in a row set down by Kevin Gausman.
More human.
Fans, you don't want to miss the retro Domer hat giveaway on Wednesday, June 24th. You can take home a vintage style cap featuring Domer the Turtle, the beloved Sky Dome mascot from the early days of the ballpark. Buy your tickets now at bluejays.com/promotions. Here in Detroit, along with Joe Siddall and Hazel May, I'm Dan Schulman. Thanks for being with us here today. It is 4-0 Blue Jays, 2 in the first, 2 in the third. Davis Schneider leads it off in the 5th. He struck out on a curveball from Jack Flaherty back in the 2nd. And called strike 2.
That's a breaking ball that started inside. You think it's going to be a ball, and it kind of hangs in there, but it's also the pitch that you can do a lot of damage to if you're sitting off speed. Davis always, I think, looking middle in, looking to pull the ball in the air. I'd be against Flaherty. You should probably just be looking breaking pitches and get one of those mistakes.
Sounded like he broke his bat as he pops it up for the second baseman McKinstry. And we go down to the field, and Hazel May.
After Yohendrick Pinongo hit his first big league homer, he said hitting a homer, especially in a tight game, is one of the hardest things to do. And he told me he was already thinking about the jacket when he was rounding the bases. All that was missing, as he motioned in the dugout, guys, was a nice looking tie to go with the jacket. And if he keeps on hitting homers, Dan and Joe will lend him theirs.
Absolutely. I love that he did that. He talked about it after the game with Hazel as well. We talked about how confident he is. Yeah. I mean, again, you're a rookie, and there's a bit of a language barrier, and you've only been in the big leagues a few weeks, and you're cracking jokes like that. You're feeling pretty confident about yourself, and with good reason, the way that he has played. We asked him before the game in the clubhouse who his favorite team was growing up in Venezuela, and he was a huge David Ortiz fan. So he was a Boston Red Sox fan as a kid, but he assured us that is all in the past right now.
No more, no more.
Takes one on the outside edge, 2-1.
Well, how comfortable are you in the big leagues as a youngster when you're thinking about the jacket while you're running the bases?
Yeah.
I think I'd have been on cloud 9, not thinking about anything. It was a big homer for sure. Tied the game in the 7th inning yesterday.
And now he hits this one well, right field, but caught on the warning track by Perez. But again, more good contact. Remember, he hit one over 400 feet to center his last time up. So yes, they're outs, but for David Popkins and John Schneider, these are good at bats that Pinongo is having.
That's a fastball middle in too, and he got the bat head out. He'll take that swing any day. Stay right there and good things will happen.
Here's Guerrero, homered in the first, and then a bloop single, and came around to score on the Varsho triple in the third. 0-1. Curveball that started off looking like it would be in the middle of the plate, broke down and away to the outside corner. And then a fastball swung on and missed, up to 95 there for Flaherty, and it's 0-2.
Staying out there for certain on these first 2 pitches. Very outside edges of the plate.
Bouncer to third, dropped by Workman, and Guerrero is safe. Got down the line well and beats it out on will likely be scored an error, and it is on Workman.
Well, good to see Vladdy going hard out of the box, because we know that that's not always the case, especially through some of his struggles. We'll see him get frustrated, jog down that first base line. Not this time, and this is why you try to run hard every time you swing the baseball back, because you get a bobble down at third base, now you're on with 2 outs. You just never know what can come of it.
With a hot hitter at the plate in Dalton Varsho, he has doubled and tripled, has scored twice and driven in a run. This is where you look at that OPS that just popped up on your screen. It's at 768. It was 732 at the beginning of the game, but it's still kind of early in the season. And Varsho has such extra base power. He can change the look of his overall numbers in a hurry when he gets hot because of the extra base hits. It's another one hard, pulls it down the line, but foul. Had the distance, just hooked it foul.
Well, based on our conversation earlier, we were talking about how different teams pitch you and how they might attack you. And it's that chess match back and forth, but there are stretches too. And you said he's streaky. There are stretches you go through, and it just seems like pitchers are making great pitches. They're on the edges of the plate. Then you go through stretches where you get a lot of pitches to hit. That's when a guy like him does a lot of damage.
A very close take, and Jack Flaherty just challenged it.
Previous pitch is the ball. The catcher has challenged.
Oh, the catcher did as well. So Flaherty did, and Dingler did as well, and it is a strike.
Pitch is a strike. Detroit retains their challenges.
Barely. Wow. So it is 2-2. Now it's full. So Guerrero will be on the move at first.
Left-handed hitter. The first baseman will back off. Mark Budzinski making sure he lets Vladdy know that. Make sure he goes home.
3-2. Bounce to the right side. McKinstry at second. Along with him, it's 4-0 Blue Jays through 4.5 as we go back to the studio for an update with Jamie Campbell.
Thank you very much, Dan. Here's the in-game tracker brought to you by Bet365. Let's talk about the Mets. 9-5 in the month of May, taking on the Yankees. There's Marcus Semien with a double to the right side. Vientos comes in, currently tied at 1, bottom of the 5th at Citi Field. Meanwhile, off to Tampa Bay. Miami scored 8 runs in the 10th inning in last night's game. Here's Taylor Walls with the bases loaded. This triple scores all of them. And right now, Tampa Bay has a 6-3 lead. They're in the bottom of the 8th at Tropicana Field. Meanwhile, in Atlanta, Mike Yastrzemski's grandfather was a star for so many years with the Red Sox. Here he is against them with a home run to right. And Atlanta's got this one seemingly in control. It is now 6-0 for the home side over Boston. That is the in-game tracker brought to you by Bet365, home of the 5-run early payout. Download the app today.
Together, let's drive.
The Western Conference Final gets underway this week. It'll be the Colorado Avalanche hosting the Vegas Golden Knights in a Game 1 Wednesday, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Sportsnet. Big basketball game here tonight. Not far at all from here, right? Cavs and the Pistons, Game 7, the Western Conference Final in the NBA getting going. Great time of year if you are a sports fan.
Right around the corner.
Yep. 4-0 Blue Jays, bottom 5. And Gage Workman, who made Kevin Gausman throw 13 pitches back in the second before Gausman struck him out, will lead off the bottom of the 5th. Just the 3rd time in Gausman's career that he needed 13 or more pitches in a plate appearance, says Justin Bodery. And if Justin says so,
I agree.
I
was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Line to left, a base hit. Boy, the Tigers may have something here. We've talked about his extra base ability. You saw the fight he put up in that first at bat, 13 pitches, good contact there.
It was a strikeout that first at bat, but it goes down for me as 2 good at bats for Workman here today against Gausman. So this fastball sitting right there out over the plate. He drills it into left.
3rd hit of the game for the Tigers. They've all been singles. That one snaps a streak of 7 in a row set down by Gausman. And now here's Zach McKinstry. First pitch swinging, fly ball left center. Varsho there. 1 down.
Andres Jimenez is quite the quarterback out here. This is a routine fly ball to center field, but we're going to see this communication in the middle of the infield. Playing with a new second baseman today in Davis Schneider. But as this ball is hit, he's going to go out. But watch, he's going to tell Schneider, hey, you get the bag. I'm going out, take the bag, take the bag. No, I'm going out that way. It doesn't mean a whole lot, but it just shows you the baseball IQ of the Blue Jays shortstop. Always on top of his game.
Spencer Torkelson, the batter. Ernie Clement played with Andres Jimenez in Cleveland, and I remember asking Ernie last year, I guess it was, early on last year, about Jimenez, and he said he knows where everybody on the field is supposed to be in every single situation. He sometimes knows more where I'm supposed to be than I know where I'm supposed to be. And you know, that's great in a second baseman, maybe even a little bit better in a shortstop, right? Because the shortstop sometimes by default is the captain of the infield. Blocked by Valenzuela on that splitter in the dirt.
Well, there's Valenzuela at work again. We've talked so much about his throwing arm. Does a pretty good job behind the plate, blocking the baseball as well as he gets over just enough to square it up and keep it right in front. Now, the other night, remember, McGonigal advanced second to third, and he blocked the ball perfectly. It was just a great job of base running. The next one, the run scores because the ball was spiked in the dirt by Savage. It hit him in the mask. And that can happen to catchers sometimes.
Valenzuela challenging.
Previous pitch is the ball. The catcher is challenged.
And it remains a ball. So the Blue Jays lose one of their 2 challenges. They've got one remaining. The Tigers still with both. You can see that alongside the team names on the scoreboard there on the bottom right of your screen. Very, very high in the air to shallow left field. Oh! Jimenez the catch as he and Pinango collide, and are they okay? Pinango looks all right. Jimenez slower to get up and still down on one knee right now. And here comes Jose Ministral, and here comes John Schneider. And hopefully no harm done. It looked like Pinango kind of grabbed for his chin. Maybe he ran into maybe his jaw went into the back of Jimenez's head.
It looked like to me Jimenez was trying to take charge again. He's going to wave right away. He's giving it to the left fielder, but then he realized it might be sticking around. Now I got it. But clearly Pinango did not hear him. This is the left fielder's ball coming in. He's yelling too. And you can see they're both yelling and probably can't hear one another. And that's what happens down on the field of play. There's a lot of crowd noise and noise that you wouldn't think about, but they clearly didn't hear each other.
And the Blue Jays very fortunate that both players appear to be okay. It was actually Drew McDonald on the field, not Jose Ministral. My mistake from the training staff for the Blue Jays. So we have seen times where Jimenez is very adamant about it. It's mine, it's mine. That one was a little bit more in the gray area. And he's holding that right shoulder. You don't like to see that. 2 down. Here's Wencel Perez, the number 9 hitter. And you're right, Jimenez definitely called for it, but it was kind of late in the action when he called for it. Is that when he should have let Pinango catch because he's the outfielder coming in?
If he heard Pinango call it, I think he would have given way, but clearly he didn't hear him when he said, okay, if you get out there that far and you're not hearing it, then he's probably thinking, I need to take charge here because I can get to it. So that's the right thing to do. But again, it's easy to just watch a play and say, why did it happen? But when you're down on the field, it's loud. There's a lot of crowd noise. There's a lot of stadium noise. You can't hear each other all the time.
1 ball and 1 strike to count on Perez. And after each pitch, Jimenez either reaches up, kind of touches that right shoulder, right collarbone area, or does that. Like there's something going on in and around the right shoulder right now for Andres Jimenez. Just low, and it's 2 balls and a strike. And Valenzuela might have thought about it, but remember they lost a challenge earlier this inning, and after remember a game a few days ago where he lost both in the 3rd inning. I don't think he's going to risk the 2nd one here in the 5th inning.
He's learned.
A high chopper to Davis Schneider on to Sosa at first in time for the 3rd out. And to 5 in Detroit, 4-0 Blue Jays. Folks, get your tickets for the 50th season jackpot from Jays Care, which features 25 incredible prizes from every era of Blue Jays history. You could win trips, exclusive merchandise, and a 50-day cruise. If you're in Alberta, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, or Ontario, visit BlueJays.com/5050 to get your tickets now. 4-0 Blue Jays, top 6. Here's Jesus Sanchez. A single and a sac fly so far today for Sanchez. But here a pop-up for Workman at 3rd. And a 1-pitch out for Jack Flaherty. Flaherty has handled the 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hitters perfectly today for the Blue Jays, but 2, 3, 4 have given him a lot of trouble. Here's Sosa hitting 5th today. Again, kind of a makeshift lineup for the Blue Jays between the injuries and both George Springer and Kazuma Okamoto out of the starting lineup. Both expected back in there tomorrow night against the Yankees. The Okamoto one we touched on a little bit earlier, and John Schneider telling us before the game that, again, it's a ton of adjustments for Okamoto. They don't play 7 games a week in Japan. It's just like the minor leagues here in North America. It's a 6-game-a-week schedule in Japan. So Okamoto has played more through the first, say, 7 weeks of the season than he is accustomed to playing. Plus, and we always see this from the Blue Jays, they're in the midst of 17 games in 17 days. Sosa lifts one to right center for the second out, and they want him for all 4 games against the Yankees. And I've talked to John Schneider many times about this over the years. If they get to a point where they feel a player is tired or needs rest, or maybe at a risk of something because there's a little something going on, that will trump who's hot, who's not, who's your play. That will trump just about anything. If they feel a player needs a day of rest, they will give him a day of rest.
And I think too, Dan, we need to make clear that when we say that the Blue Jays feel that a player needs a day off because of fatigue, well, it's not that they're tired and can't play today. It's because what happens with fatigue is that's what can lead to injury if you keep playing them. 17 in a row. Yes, they just had a day off a few days ago, but you're not talking about just a day off a few days ago. You're talking about how much he played before that day off. And it's that cumulative effect on the body that we've seen it all around Major League Baseball. It's hard to keep guys healthy for 162. So you have to try.
Clement chases a ball in the dirt. Dingler has it and down to first to complete the out and retire the side. The Blue Jays go quickly here, top 6.
There is no forgiveness.
24 chefs, 24 non-stop hours.
I think it's wrong. Lay off.
We are on a mission and we're going to find you a home.
Celebrity and where there's money.
Pretty high score for trouble.
Brand new challenge.
It's us against the world.
This hotel is going to be like nothing you've ever seen.
The best shows from the biggest networks, all in one place.
Pitching decisions presented by Sage, official finance software partner of Major League Baseball.
Well, Kevin Gausman doesn't have too many decisions to make with that 4-seam fastball and the splitter. 15 outs today. You see 9 on the splitter. That seems to be the case more often than not. Has not allowed a run through 5 innings today. And that splitter, he'll get a lot of soft contact with that pitch. 4 strikeouts to go with it this afternoon as he's got himself a nice little lead in the back half of this ballgame.
4-0, bottom 6, top of the order. So this is the beginning of third time through with the rookie Kevin McGonigal up. He has swung at the first pitch each of his first 2 at-bats. A fly out and a ground out. Takes just off the outside corner here for ball 1. That one will catch the outside edge, and it's 1-1. Well, the difference between those 2 pitches was maybe 2 inches, but one just off and one just in. And it makes me think, it makes me marvel a little bit at the precision of a major league pitcher. The difference between a strike and a ball, a hit, a mistake and a good pitch can be 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches from a distance of 60 feet, 6 inches away.
Yeah, and you can get away with pitches right down the middle, or you can get beat with pitches on the corner.
To deep center. Varsho still back, makes the catch. McGonigal gives it a ride, but again, this is a big outfield, and it cost him right there. Gausman will take it.
Fastball from Gausman, and McGonigal was all over it. And once again, those flags aren't blowing as hard right now as maybe earlier, but it might have been just enough to make McGonigal lift his head up in the air because it just kept it in the ballpark.
1 loud out, and here's Dylan Dingler, 1 for 2. So Kevin Gausman, by virtue of pitching today, will be the only starting pitcher for the Blue Jays who will not appear in the Yankees series. It'll be Corbin, Cease, Savage, and then still to be determined for the 4th game. This one is trouble. It's going to drop in beyond Schneider and in front of Varsho, and Dingler has not hit the ball hard today, but he's got a couple of hits.
Fastball in on the hands. That ball's got some arm side movement there, running in on the right-hander. Not exactly where he wanted it, but Dingler fights it off for a little bloop single.
That'll bring up Colt Keith, the DH, who flied out to center in the first and then was called out on strikes in the fourth. So he's 0 for 2. Gausman at 87 pitches, 55 strikes. And one thing that Kevin Gausman has done remarkably well this year is not walk batters. He has walked 9 the entire season in now 56 2/3 innings. Just outside, it's a ball and a strike.
So important for Kevin with pretty well 2 pitches that he's in the zone with a fastball, because the way that splitter works, that's the pitch he's going to get more swing and miss with. If you're in the zone with a fastball, you get those hitters in swing mode.
One and one the count. In there for called strike 2.
That's a good example of it right there. So the fastball's in there, you get the called strike, so it's 1 and 2, and now if you can put him away with a splitter, more likely to get that chase with the hitter on the defense.
Used to be almost exclusively up with the fastball, but getting more called strikes down in the zone with fastballs the last couple of years. And a splitter lifted in the air to shallow left center field. And Nyong'o in for out number 2.
Catch every pitch with Canada's most reliable 5G Plus network and best 5G Plus network. Rogers, we got you.
Beautiful day here in Detroit. Dan Schulman, Joe Siddall, Hazel May. The Blue Jays up 4-0, bottom 6, trying to win a series before they head to the Bronx. Riley Green, the batter. He has flied out and struck out. Entered the game on an 11-game hitting streak and a streak of 25 games in a row reaching base.
Got to be very careful with here. He can get this Tigers team right back in the ballgame with 1 swing in the bat. Keep that splitter away from him.
Fastball, again a called strike down in the zone with a fastball, and it's 1 and 1.
That's a good case of Valenzuela, where I was talking earlier about reaching over, not moving the body a whole lot, so he gives the umpire a good look and gets that call at the bottom of the zone.
Line drive, right field, foul ball. One and 2 now the count on Green. Splitter, and that one ran, instead of going down, that one ran way outside on Gausman, and it's 2 and 2. Is that your wrist, or what changes it from going straight down to moving outside?
I think it's more the grip and the release. Yeah, he didn't quite get on top of it the way he wants to pull it down.
Closer there, down and away, but no chase by Green, who will chase, and now it's a full count.
Letting everybody in the infield know now the runner will be going. 3-2, 2 outs. Ground ball, the play will be at first base.
There he goes, and it's fouled off by Green. "96 pitches through 5 2/3 for Gausman. Basically been in control the entire game. Nobody's up in the bullpen right now. There goes Dingler again, and another 3-2 is swung on and missed. He'll get him. 5th strikeout of the afternoon. Kevin Gausman having himself quite the afternoon here in Detroit. 6 scoreless against the Tigers. Welcome back to Comerica Park. Final game of the series. 4-0 Blue Jays going to the top of the 7th. Look at how these newfangled modern cameras, how much they can zoom in on us. That's us. That's where we are. That's Joe. That's Justin. Say hello, Justin. There's Justin.
That camera looks like it's in downtown Windsor.
I know. It's out in center field, but it can zoom in on us at any moment. We both love coming here. It's a great ballpark. It's an underrated ballpark, I think. And you're a Windsor guy, like you've got family and friends who have crossed the border and spending the weekend. You're having the time of your life this weekend.
It's a lot of fun coming over to Detroit for the weekend. And, you know, in the past, my wife would come over to the game and we would go back home and have the barbecue fired up on a Saturday night after the day game. But, you know, we learned with all these Canadian fans over here, the border got busy.
Yes, it did.
So there's some Windsor folks coming in here for Sunday afternoon, but we decided to stay over in downtown Detroit here for the weekend.
Those look like ball players right there.
Those look like ball players.
I think those are ball players.
Those look like, you know what? That looks like the Walker Home Sites Hawks.
It says Hawks. It says
that
Hawks.
looks like the Walker Home Sites Hawks from Windsor.
There
yes. Coached young kids for a number of years in the Windsor area.
4-0 Blue Jays. Top 7. Andres Jimenez, the batter, a new pitcher on the mound for the Tigers. Right-hander Birch Smith. And a 2-hopper to second. Remember, Jimenez had something going on with that shoulder after the collision with Yohendrick Pinango. Good news, obviously, that he is still in the game, but worth digging into after the game. I'm sure Hazel May and Ben Nicholson-Smith will be asking about that. Blue Jays do not want to lose any more players right now.
You know, Birch Smith is 36 years old, and he's coming up to eat up some innings here with this deficit of 4-0 for A.J. Hinch's club. Veteran of 7 big league seasons with 8 different teams.
Went 2 scoreless innings in the game on Friday night. Here's Brandon Valenzuela, 0 for 2 on a couple of groundouts. Yariel Rodriguez is up in the bullpen. We'll see if that means Kevin Gausman is done, or maybe does he come back out to start the 7th. He's at 97 pitches. Rodriguez has made 1 appearance since returning to the big leagues, and remember, Tommy Nance went on the IL today with a forearm issue. Adamako, rookie left-hander, Alberta guy, born in Slovakia but spent a number of years in Alberta. He is on the roster, so the Blue Jays actually have 3 lefties in the pen right now. Good pitch of the knees by Smith to get him 2 down.
Well, you know, Valenzuela's thinking of challenging right there, but he knows he missed one from behind the plate, and his team's got a 4-0 lead. He has to just take that one. So close.
Yeah, might have been right had he done it, but too close to use it up. So 2 down. Here is Davis Schneider. And a base hit into left field. Got a first pitch curveball down at the knees and lined it into left. A base hit for Schneider.
Well, good for Davis. That has to feel pretty good getting on that first pitch curveball. And you know, when you're scuffling at the plate, you want to stay as the aggressor. This pitch stays out over the plate. He's able to get the barrel to it.
He needed that. 2 out single for Schneider, and back to the top of the order for Yohendrick Pinango, who's 0 for 3. But 2 of the 3 could have done a lot of damage. One went about 400 feet to straightaway center, and the other went to the warning track in right.
And you know what managers really like? Add-on runs. Anytime you can keep increasing that lead, an extra base hit could do that here.
We used to say on the team I coached back in the day in Thornhill, it's tack-on time. You got to tack on some runs. This is tack-on time.
Tack-on time, because, you know, we look over at John Schneider and Pete Walker so often during the broadcast, and there aren't a lot of easy decisions because they're playing so many close games. Thinking about who to bring in next.
Well, and John Schneider, A, wants to win the game, but B, would love to do it maybe without using a Tyler Rogers, a Louis Varland. They both pitched yesterday. If they pitch today, they're not pitching tomorrow night in the first game at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, this is the day they needed to score 8 and make it a bit of a laugher so that everybody's fresh for the Bronx. They're halfway to 8. It's not over yet.
2-2 on Pinyango. And Schneider draws a throw. Popped up third base side, but it looks like it's out of play, and it is.
Those are ones you're just glad they get out of play, because there's a fastball in the inner part there that Pinyango a little bit late to it, so he got under it, but sometimes those pop up and stay in foul play. So he's got new life here.
The 2-2 again. Shot back towards the mound. Smith will make the play. And that'll be all for the Blue Jays. 7th inning stretch in Detroit, still 4-0.
On Sportsnet 1.
2 Blue Jays legends in one bobblehead. This Friday, the first 15,000 fans will receive a Jose Bautista Edwin Encarnacion Home Run Flex City Connect bobblehead, showcasing their signature celebration in new threads. See the full promotions and event schedule at bluejays.com/promotions. Here, 4-0 Blue Jays bottom 7, and John Schneider has gone to the bullpen. 6 scoreless for Kevin Gausman, allowed just 4 hits on the afternoon, all singles. And now making his 2nd appearance of the season for the Blue Jays is Yariel Rodriguez.
Yariel pitched a scoreless inning on Monday against the Rays after he was brought up from AAA. He walked 1 after he was caught stealing. He also struck out a pair, and we've seen that splitter. That's been very good for left-handed batters. We'll see if we see that in his outing today with the lefty Gage Workman on deck.
After having a very prominent role in the bullpen in the first half of last season, kind of pitched himself out of that spot in the second half. The velocity had dipped and the walks were a problem for Yariel. And in fact, he wasn't even on the World Series roster. Was outrighted off the roster. Has worked his way back from Buffalo. Matt Vierling, number 5 hitter in the Tigers lineup. I think this is a big outing for both him and the team. He could go 2 innings if he's good, and that would save an arm for the Yankee series. And for him, with Tommy Nance going on the IL today, again, they've now got 5 righties and 3 lefties in the pen. And John Schneider likes having 3 lefties at Yankee Stadium. Good fastball there, and it's 1-2. 96, you like to see that. The Yankees have Rice and Bellinger and Wells and Grisham, a lot of left-handed batters, so you like having 3 lefties at Yankee Stadium. But they're down a righty now in Nance, and Rodriguez, I think, has an opportunity to make this more than just a cameo if he pitches well the next few times out.
And we saw him last year when he was good. He was very good. After that first month of April, he really fixed some things.
Off the end of the bat, shallow right center, and on comes Dalton Varsho to make the play.
Well, Dalton Varsho is the guy you want in a spacious center field like Comerica Park. He gets a good jump on this ball coming in. And we see him so often come into that sliding catch, and that's something you'd like to see from a Varsho. This is a guy that's had shoulder surgery, so diving headfirst is something I'd rather not see from him, but he scoops right in there, no problem.
Now the third baseman, Gage Workman, a strikeout and a base hit. Fastball at 98, Joe, and in the zone for a strike.
Bring it on, puppy dog, right? We know he's got a good arm. Let's see if we see the splitter in this at bat.
When the Blue Jays outrighted him off the roster, basically any team could have claimed him. But given the way he finished last year and how much money is owed to him this year and next year, like anybody could have claimed him and just taken the contract, but nobody did.
And that splitter we just saw, that's what can help that strikeout rate, especially against left-handed batters.
0-2. Fouled off and got a piece of Valenzuela.
Does he get hit more than any catcher we've seen? I mean, we see foul tips off catchers a lot. That one got him pretty good.
Inside of the, right just above the knee, right?
Top of the knee.
Yeah. It's hurting like crazy, but he waved off Jose Minestral. He sent him back to the dugout.
Talk about the stance again so much in the one knee. You really do leave yourself a little bit more exposed. We've seen a lot of the hits he takes are above the shin guard and that open leg that's exposed.
The 0-2 again. Rodriguez, as he sometimes does, goes into that hesitation move at the top of his windup. That was the splitter, but it missed well off the outside corner. Got him to chase, and he strikes him out. 2 down. Once Valenzuela gets it down to first to complete the play.
And that's exactly what we're talking about right there. That splitter is a good weapon for left-handed batters, and I think we're going to see that strikeout rate increase because of it, especially when you see that good velocity on his fastball. Hitters have to gear up for the heater. Commit early.
So 2 down and the base is empty. Here's Zach McKinstry, 1 for 2. And a base hit in the second. Top of the zone and a called strike with a slider.
Got a business venture for you, Dan. Are you entrepreneurial?
Not really, but I'm listening.
What if you come up with a shin guard for a catcher that now covers the upper half of the leg, because so many of them are on one knee that covers your upper leg?
Down to first. Sosa will wave off Rodriguez and make the play. 3 up, 3 down for Yariel Rodriguez. And Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who homered in the first inning today, is going to lead it off when we come back.
Where East meets West.
Welcome back. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. leading off the 8th inning here for your Blue Jays. And if you missed it earlier, here's his home run back in the first inning. Now, Guerrero appreciates all the support and advice he's been receiving from coaches and teammates, pregame and postgame. Everyone believes they have a solution for him. But at the end of the day, he reminded us that he's the one digging in. It's his at-bat. I have to find a way to get through this myself, but I know things are going to change. And today's a great start, guys. Guerrero with a couple of hits, including home run number 3 of the season and 2 runs scored. Dan.
And Hazel, if he got hot heading into Yankee Stadium, that would be perfect timing. Vladdy has always hit well at Yankee Stadium. Again, there's no way to know if there's any carryover, but an encouraging sign today as he homered in the first, a bloop single in the third, reached on an error in the 5th, leading it off here in the 8th. Looks at a strike from Birch Smith, back out there for his second inning of work. Lifted to very shallow right. Another kind of breaking ball away right off the end of the bat for some weak contact to the right side. That has been a fairly frequent thing in recent weeks.
It has. And so on one hand, you can say that pitchers are executing pitches, but at the same time, you can't play into their hands. So the first pitch of the at-bat is so critical because now you're down 0-1. As soon as you're down 0-1, you tend to expand a little bit more. And you're swinging at pitches that pitchers want you to swing at.
Pitching change for A.J. Hinch.
Pop it off in celebration! It's game on at Tim's with new Timbits ice cap flavors from around the globe. Try them all today.
It's the Blue Jays up 4-0 on the Tigers, and a left-hander Emmanuel De Jesus is now into the game for Detroit. 1 out here, top 8 as Dalton Varsho fouls it straight back. It has been another good day for Varsho, 2 for 3. A triple in the first inning and an RBI double in the third inning. Lauer has officially been moved. The Blue Jays have traded Eric Lauer and cash considerations to the Los Angeles Dodgers for a player to be named later or cash consideration. So what that means is the Blue Jays are picking up part of his contract to send him to the Dodgers. And then at some point in the future, the Blue Jays will receive back either a player to be named later or maybe some cash back. Probably depends on how Lauer does, how much of an impact he has on the Dodgers. So Eric Lauer now officially out of the Blue Jays organization and headed to the Dodgers. Don't know if he's going to the big leagues or AAA. That's for them to sort out on their end, but that's the news.
And I think first and foremost for Eric as the pitcher, he just needs to get back into his sorts. He went through that illness and stretch and just didn't seem strong pitching wise. So get your health back and get back to the Eric Lauer we saw last year. If that comes back, the Dodgers find something.
Varsho stays alive. They just put Tyler Glasnow on the IL, back spasms, and Blake Snell's gone on the IL again. He's having elbow surgery. He's going to be gone at least a couple of months. As always seems to be the case, they have an embarrassment of riches, and then they've got 12 guys on the IL, and they're trying to figure it out. So who knows? Again, we don't know if he's going to the big club and how they plan to use him, but they're a little short right now with guys who can give them length.
Well, that's why grabbing a pitcher like that with some experience that can help you at some point this season for sure, the Dodgers can do that.
Varsho fighting off some pitches to stay alive.
First time for DeJesus in this series. Giving up runs in each of his last 2 outings. He's been able to give A.J. Hinch more than 3 outs on many of occasions. So I'm sure he's calling upon the left-hander to try to finish things off today.
Hooked foul up the line. Miles Straw is on deck with a lefty on the mound now. He is going to hit for Jesus Sanchez, and then you keep him in the game for his defense. And nobody up in the Blue Jays pen, by the way. So Yariel Rodriguez will come back out to begin the bottom of the 8th. And again, that feels important. Can he get through 2 good innings here in this game and save an arm for that Yankee series? Way outside, and it's full.
As a left-handed hitter, you're generally giving up the inside of the plate against a left-handed pitcher. So I'm sure Dalton's just looking out over. Whether it's the cutter, fastball, slider.
And you can see where Dingler's setting up. Because lefties don't like coming in on left-handed batters?
They just don't seem to come in as much. Now, we don't see righties come into righties a whole lot anymore either, but it's just always away.
So 10 pitches and counting now in this at-bat. 7 foul balls.
Keep counting.
Yeah, Varsho is challenging what Gage Workman did against Kevin Gausman earlier in the game. He got to 13. And Varsho's about to see number 12. And he draws a walk. Dalton Varsho's pretty locked in right now.
That is one heck of a plate appearance against a lefty coming in out of the bullpen with all of those different pitchers. It's a good sign to get him going because not only the hits, the danger potential, and heading to Yankee Stadium after this, doesn't that fit well for the left-handed hitter?
Little short porch down and right. Here's Miles Straw with Varsho at first and 1 out. Straw pinch hitting for Sanchez. Think a hit and run's a possibility here?
I do. Contact hitter, guy that can run a little bit. You're up 4, you're trying to add on, make things happen.
Big hole on the right side of the infield. Varsho not going, and it's taken outside, ball 1.
And you can do it with a left-handed pitcher because you don't have to go first move. Dalton can wait a little bit longer over there, make sure that he goes home, and then take off. You're counting on the ball being put in play by Strauss. You're not worried about being caught stealing.
Popped up very shallow right. Ooh, and the catch made by Perez. He had to come in a long way, and that didn't wind up being all that routine for him, but he makes the play, 2 down.
The wind's still blowing pretty good up there, and it just kept bringing it back toward the infield.
Two down. Here's Lenyn Sosa, who's 0 for 3. And now there is some activity, Joe, in the Blue Jays bullpen. Left-hander Joe Mantiply is up. And keep in mind, the top of the Tigers order has 3 lefties in the top 4 spots. So 8, 9, and 1 are due up for the Tigers. Looks like Rodriguez will start the inning. And then we'll see how John Schneider plays it. Fly ball to right field. Back on the track is Perez to make the catch. And that'll retire the side. 4-0 Blue Jays going bottom 8. And time now for a Blue Jays Central update with Jamie Campbell and Chris LaRue.
Dan Home Hardware is proud to be the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. I'll tell you who's enjoying a 4-0 lead. My friend Ann Elias watching in Morden, Manitoba. What did you make of the reaction by Guerrero after he hit the home run?
Well, a lot of emotion coming from that reaction. It's really cool to see Vladimir Guerrero Jr. make good contact on a tough fastball inside, and then you see the reaction rounding first base, getting to the dugout, putting that home run jacket on. It's not always one pitch, one swing. I'm going to add one more thing into that. Sometimes it's one result, and that was a great one for Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Yes, it was a 4-0 lead for the Blue Jays. The 7th game between Buffalo and Montreal tomorrow night puts us on Sportsnet 1. Patrick Corbin is going to get the start at Yankee Stadium. They move on to face New York. It's the first time they've seen them all year. We're back to Comerica Park in Detroit right after this.
So Yohendrick Pinyango will move over to right. If you're wondering how they decide where to put Straw, it could be either where the field is bigger, where there's more ground to cover, or where they think most of the balls will be hit, depending on who's hitting. But obviously, they want to get Straw in the bigger, busier, more challenging corner of the outfield. Here's Spencer Torkelson to lead it off against Yariel Rodriguez. Rodriguez hit a 3-up, 3-down 7th and starts the bottom of the 8th with a slider for a called strike. You saw Mantiply was up. Torkelson 0 for 2 today. This is in the air to right center field. Pinyango is there. Looks like Yariel dropped down a little bit on that slider. Still between the hesitation and the arm angle, he's still got some stuff going on.
Still always using a little bit of that trickery, and we saw it at times last year too. And my only fear with it is that if it's altering your delivery, it can alter your release point. It can alter the result of your pitch quality. So you have to be careful in that regard, but it worked there.
Wencel Perez, the number 9 hitter. He is 0 for 2 on a couple of ground outs. Broken bat, ground ball left side, and Jimenez tried to barehand it, could not come up with it. A broken bat, weak contact, but a base hit for Perez. And now Andres may have taken that one off the tip of his finger.
Coming in trying to barehand that ball and maybe caught his fingertip. Right there. You'll see infielders really open up their hands and spread their fingers to try to get that ball in their whole hand before they grip it. Couldn't come up with it.
Can't fault Rodriguez for that, obviously. A very good outing for him. And now the left-hander Joe Mantiply in with some lefties coming up.
See you.
Back here in Detroit, the Blue Jays up 4-0, 1 out bottom 8, and here's Joe Mantiply.
Joe's been very good, 16 games this season, and right now it's a career best 2.12 ERA. The whip just over 1. He's gotten a ton of ground balls. Looking to do that off the bat of McGonigal right here. He gets them on the sinker, he gets them on the changeup. He'll throw those 2 pitches a lot to righties, more so the curveball to lefties.
Big spot here, top of the order. The Tigers trying to get something going. McGonigal 0 for 3. And looks at a strike. Kevin Gausman went 6 scoreless. Yariel Rodriguez an inning and a third, allowed just that 1 infield hit. And now Mantiply. 0-2. Mantiply has been a good find for the Blue Jays. Brendan Little had a tough go at the beginning of the year. Now with Buffalo, Mantiply was brought up from the minors and has been a very solid contributor out of the bullpen. And now a third lefty is up, and Adam Macko again, who at some point is going to make his major league debut, taking the spot of Tommy Nance, who went on the IL today. 1-2, grounded up the middle. It's a base hit. Around to third comes Perez.
Mantiply got the ground ball, but it had eyes and found its way into center field. Trying to go away with this sinker, didn't quite get it out there far enough. It stays middle, and the gets just enough of it to get it up the middle.
So first and third with one out. And now Dylan Dingler. Dingler 2 for 3. A couple of softly hit singles. Mantiply looking for a ground ball again, just ideally at somebody, and a chance to turn 2 and get out of this. Blue Jays may be down a couple of guys in the bullpen today due to recent use. Braden Fisher has pitched 2 days in a row, so that very likely means that he is down today. Louis Varland threw 26 pitches over 2 innings yesterday. We don't know if he's available. Mantiply falls behind 2-0.
Fluharty opened yesterday, went an inning and a third. He told me today he's good to go.
Yeah. Through 19. Although I wonder if he'd be in right now.
That's,
if he was good to go, right?
My
So,
point.
yeah.
Yes, this is your leverage for your lefty.
Yeah. Foul ball, and it's 2-1. Well, we know Tyler Rogers is good to go. He is up in the bullpen. Mantiply has to face 3 batters. And the 4th guy is a left-handed batter, Riley Green. So he is probably in through Riley Green if it were to go that long. 3 balls and a strike on Dingler. A.J. Hinch has a pinch hitter on deck. A right-handed batter, Jemai Jones, is going to hit for the left-hand hitting Colt Keith. (3-1) and it's fouled off. Now full. Always chatting, and Pete Walker always checking the matchups and the numbers to see what their best plan may be going forward. Tigers are making this one a game here potentially. 3-2 fouled off by Dingler.
And the big thing for the Blue Jays defense right now, you're counting outs. When you get to this point of the ball game, you're up 4, you're counting outs, which means ground ball, you're not rushing things. Make sure you get 1. If you can turn 2, that's great, but be very sure-handed defensively right now.
Perez at third, McGonigal at first, and again the 3-2, and again it is fouled off. And A.J. Hinch has not been starting McGonigal on these last couple of pitches.
Dingler not a guy that's going to strike out a ton, but the last thing he can afford is to strike him out, throw him out right here.
Another 3-2, and it's inside ball 4, and that will load the bases. So Mantiply has given up a hit and a walk, and here comes Pete Walker for a conversation about the pinch hitter, Jemai Jones. And Mantiply, again, he must stay and face Jones. Jones will be his 3rd batter. And then you've got the biggest power threat on the Tigers roster in Riley Green on deck.
Jones flies. He's a very good runner, so you're not necessarily thinking about the double play, but you are thinking about the ground ball right here, and that's exactly what Mantiply can do. You're trying to get something on the ground.
And get at least 1 out somewhere.
Yeah. You're taking out for a run right here. Limit the damage. Sinker, changeup, usually his two best bets to get that ground ball.
In there for called strike one. And again, it's 0-2. Well, usually pinch hitters, especially with men on base, come off the bench with a swing mindset.
Back-to-back changeups from Matt's play. I wonder if that as a hitter maybe threw him off a little bit timing-wise. Didn't see them well.
Bases loaded, one out, bottom 8. Ground ball to third, to second, one to first, not in time. So the Blue Jays get an out, but the Tigers get their first run.
And that is just fine from the Blue Jays perspective. Not hit hard enough to turn 2. But as I was describing, Ernie, take your time. Make sure you get the lead out. You're probably not turning it on Jones anyway. But Mantiply gets that ground ball that he was after, and he did it with his changeup.
So now Green. And with Green being a left-handed batter, John Schneider will leave Mantiply to face him. Tyler Rogers has been up in the pen. There's a righty on deck. But it will be Mantiply and Green who represents the tying run. Down and away for ball one. And inside, it's 2-0. Green has done a nice job against lefties this year, hit .372 in limited at bats. Mantiply shakes Valenzuela a couple of times, now a third before he gets to the pitch he's looking for. And missed just outside. It's 3-0. McGonigal, the runner at third, Jones at first. And the 3-0 pitch on the way and in there for a strike.
This sounds crazy because when you're the pitcher on the mound, you're trying to get the hitter out. From the Blue Jays perspective, I don't want Riley Green to hurt me. I don't care if he gets on base. I'll take Tyler Rogers against the on-deck hitter, Matt Vierling. If I'm catching, I can manipulate my calls based on that. Throw him a breaking ball away, see if they'll chase it.
Got a call at the bottom of the zone with a two-seamer. It's now 3-2. There's Vierling waiting on deck. Jones, the runner at first, will be on the move on the pitch. Here it comes, and it's grounded to second. Schneider from the edge of the outfield grass will throw him out, and that will end the inning. Bend but don't break for the Blue Jays here, bottom 8, and it's 4-1.
On Sportsnet 1.
Brand new series for the Blue Jays begins tomorrow, and it's a 4-gamer, and it's at Yankee Stadium. First meeting of the regular season between Vladimir Guerrero and the Blue Jays, Aaron Judge and the Yankees. Blue Jays Central at 6:30 Eastern time. A couple of lefties on the mound. Patrick Corbin for the Blue Jays, Ryan Weathers for the Yankees.
I know it's only May, but it's kind of got a playoff feel, doesn't it?
It's, I mean, after last year,
right?
yeah.
It's only May, but yeah.
The Yankees are in second place in the East. They're 10 games over 500. They're 7.5 games ahead of the Blue Jays right now. They're leading the Mets today as well. Vladdy has always enjoyed hitting at Yankee Stadium. 1-1 the count on Ernie Clement, who's 0 for 3. And a roller to short for out number 1. At the moment, there is nobody up in the Blue Jays pen. I'm just guessing here. That says to me it's going to be Tyler Rogers because he was up already and maybe doesn't need as much time. That's Adam Macko, right? Yeah, that's Adam Macko, who was just called up today, but he's not throwing yet. Joe Mantiply finished the 8th inning, but he threw in excess of 20 pitches. We got a challenge.
The call of ball.
Catcher challenging the call of a ball. And it is a ball.
Call is confirmed. They have 1 challenge remaining.
The hitters due up for the Tigers are Vierling, Workman, McKinstry. Righty, lefty, lefty. And A.J. Hinch has 3 righties on the bench, but none of them are really, you know, dudes, right, that he would bring off the bench in a big spot. He could for a left-handed batter, but the first move belongs to John Schneider. His big breaking ball there.
His lineup is thin because of injuries, and that makes your bench thin as well.
Ground ball to short. Backhanded by McGonigal, and Jimenez retired 2 down. Mantiply, for what it's worth, threw 21 pitches in the 8th inning. We'll see who comes out for the bottom of the 9th. Brandon Valenzuela, the batter. He's 0 for 3.
Mantiply has recorded more than 3 outs a handful of times this season, so it's not out of it, but
there's our answer.
That could be our answer.
Yeah. He had been up. He was almost ready. And Valenzuela will buy him a little bit more time to get completely ready. Again, the significance, if Rogers or Varland pitch today, they wouldn't be able to pitch tomorrow. And Varland could even be down. 2 innings and 26 pitches yesterday. So you want to think a little bit about tomorrow, but it's a 3-run game. You got to think mostly about today, obviously, and winning the game that's right in front of you.
Trying to win a series first.
So Tyler Rogers is going to come on for the bottom of the 9th inning, it looks like. Here's Davis Schneider, 1 for 3, hit a base hit to left his first time up, or his last time up, I should say. The 1-0. Fouled off by Schneider. DeMarlo Hale in conversation with John Schneider. A low-scoring series, a 3-2 game, a 2-1 game, and now a 4-1 game. Blue Jays have allowed only 5 runs in 3 games.
They have been pitching.
Yeah, Pete Walker's guys have been doing a really good job. Softly hit on the right side of the infield, charging and making the play just in time as McKinstry. Davis Schneider is retired. And it is on to the bottom of the 9th here in Detroit, with the Blue Jays holding a 3-run lead.
$1,100.
Another reminder about Game 7 tomorrow night from Buffalo. The Canadians and the Sabres, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific, right here on Sportsnet. The Blue Jays trying to win a series on the road. They scored early, 2 in the first, 2 in the third. They lead 4-1 going to the bottom of the 9th. And Tyler Rogers has come out of the bullpen looking for a save.
Remember in spring training we had these discussions, and it was about Jeff Hoffman as the closer and who else may get saves this year. We said we could see Louis Varland getting some saves. Well, we also said that we could see Tyler Rogers getting some saves, and he is after his first one of the season here in Detroit.
He's got 19 career saves. Last one was 2 years ago with the Giants. He worked a scoreless 8th inning in yesterday's game. He'll face 5, 6, 7. This is Matt Vierling, who is 0 for 3. And Rogers falls behind 2-0. Back in the zone, 2-1. After Vierling, it'll be Gage Workman and Zach McKinstry, a couple of left-handed batters. Inside, 3-1.
Interesting that Valenzuela set up so far inside right there. You know, the movement on the pitch is doing when you're up 4. I throw that thing right down the middle. Let the movement of the pitch work for you.
Ball 4, and that's a leadoff walk for Vierling. That's just the 4th unintentional walk that Rogers has given up in 20 1/3 innings this year. So the leadoff man is on, and now here comes Workman. Historically, Rogers has been kind of platoon neutral. It doesn't really matter if he's facing righties or lefties. On the outside edge. How many times have we seen him do that to a left-handed batter?
Oh, we saw Joe Mantiply get some ground balls. Some found holes, but this is what Tyler Rogers does very well also. He can get 2 outs on 1 pitch as good as anyone.
Ground ball to short. Jimenez to second. Schneider to first. Got him. And we'll see if the Tigers decide to challenge. It was very, very close, but at least for now, it's a double play ball. And Hinch does want to challenge both. Is he asking about how Schneider came across the base? That signal from Hinch made it look like they're challenging both bases.
The ruling on the field is a double play. Detroit has challenged both the play at second and first. The previous play is under review.
Wow. Ninth inning, right?
Right.
Maybe he just pointed to both. Let's check them both.
Yeah, there's no downside to asking for a second challenge on the same play.
He's definitely out at second.
As long as the timing was fine. The timing's fine. He's out.
Fine,
yeah, he's out. So the question is first.
He's safe.
I think I got him safe there.
Yep.
Yeah.
But they did what they had to, and again, you want to make sure you're counting outs here. Get that first one first. That's the important one. The rest is a bonus, but Tyler does what he does. He got the ground ball, just couldn't quite turn it in time.
After review, the ruling on the field of play at second is out, confirmed. The ruling at first is overturned. The runner is safe. Detroit will retain its challenge.
So a fielder's choice, 1 on, 1 out, and that'll bring up Zach McKinstry.
It's tricky for a second baseman with the left-handed batter. You're playing to pull a little bit, so you have a long way to go to get to that second base bag. That's why Schneider wasn't there in time to turn it. But he did a good job coming across the bag.
Strike 1 called. Strike 2 calls. Right back to the sinker and right at the top of the zone. Rogers will mix in that slider a lot against righties, but not as much against lefties. Very heavy 2-seam or sinker usage against left-handed batters. 0-2. Elevated it too high, and it's ball 1.
Good job by Valenzuela there, staying with that pitch, because everything you feel is going to be down from Rogers, but you have to take your eyes up to it just so it doesn't go off your glove.
Ahead 1-2, and it's fouled back. Gosman to Rodriguez to Mantiply, and now to Rogers, trying to nail it down in the bottom of the 9th and give the Blue Jays a series victory. Again, the 1-2. And ball 2. As he went to the slider there, tried to backdoor it, but he left it down low. When he does throw the slider to the lefties, it's almost always that backdoor, right? The outside corner.
It's a good mix, a little different look, different speed.
2-2. And it's popped up. It's going to be Jimenez making the catch out in shallow center. He called off Schneider to make the play. 2 down. And now Spencer Torkelson will be the batter. 0 for 3 on the afternoon. I can't remember for one moment, even when he had that crazy weak contact strange inning a few weeks ago, I can't remember his expression changing once on the mound.
He's probably a lot like us. He just expects a lot of soft contact. And because of that, crazy things can happen. Sometimes they'll find holes, and there's nothing you can do about it. He knows that. All you can do is release the baseball from your hand. No control once it hits the bat. Sometimes they find holes or drop in, especially with his style.
Signed a 3-year deal with the Blue Jays in the offseason. In there for a strike. That's the slider. And again, it comes from down under, and it's just moving in a different direction on a different plane than right-handed batters are used to seeing. And now it's 0-2. Blue Jays fans again making their presence felt here in Detroit. The pitch. Tied him up. Grounded foul.
Rogers already nodding. Valenzuela's already on his transmitter, punching in the next pitch. He's walking back to the pitching rubber. Nod, yep, that's the one. Let's see which one it is.
Way out in front, 0-2. Torkelson has fouled a couple off. Rogers one more time, and that slider sails up and away. One, two, and that'll miss up and away as well. It is 2-2. And obviously this is the guy you want to get. You don't want to bring the tying run to the plate. Wencel Perez, the number 9 hitter, is on deck with a runner at first, 2 down. Rogers sets and deals and got him. But a challenge. Hang on.
The batter is challenging the strike 3.
It was a called strike, not a swinging strike, and Torkelson is challenging. And that is your ball game.
Game is over.
Not sure we've had one of those where a game ends on an unsuccessful challenge, but it ends in a positive manner for the Blue Jays. Tyler Rogers picks up the save. Kevin Gausman, 6 scoreless to get the win. Another big day for Varsho. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hit a home run, and the Blue Jays win the series here in Detroit.
Well, the offense was going early, 4 early runs, but more so than anything, Kevin Gausman steady as they come on the mound, supported by that home run from Vladdy early in this ball game, and the bullpen did their job. A nice series win. Yes, that's it. Series win heading to New York.
Happy on the flight, as they say, on their way to New York in a couple of hours to begin a big 4-game series with the New York Yankees. Time now for Blue Jay Central. Once again, here are Jamie and Chris.
Things are looking up in a number of ways, and we'll address it with Chris LaRue. As the Blue Jays, as you just heard them say, it's important to take steps like that, given how much ground seems to have been lost at the beginning of the year. But we know this much. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is feeling a whole lot better about today than he was tomorrow, and here's why. Let's take a look at the action from this Sunday afternoon game at Comerica Park in Detroit. Guerrero Jr. unfazed, it seems, by all the talk about his struggles. So what does he do? with the lowest launch angle by a home run hitter this year. He hits one out in the first inning, and you can see by his reaction he was thrilled with that. Varsho comes up, and for a while you might have thought this left the ballpark. It doesn't. It turns off the wall. It's a double. He'd come in on a wild pitch, make it 2-0. Vladdy, swing decision, pays off. I guess when you're feeling good, sometimes you get lucky, right? And so he drops one there and steps up Varsho. And look at this. He punishes this baseball to the gap in left center field. Guerrero Jr. comes all the way around to score on the triple by Dalton Varsho. What a start to the day for Varsho. A double and then a run-scoring triple. He'd come in on a sac fly, leave it to Kevin Gausman, who was terrific in the fourth. There he sees Keith looking at a strike.